Hello. I'm Heather Peterson, and I'm here with the Riley Blake Virtual Quilt Market, and I'm going to present to you my Indigo Garden fabric line. And this year we're doing things a little bit differently. I'm coming to you from my backyard as opposed to a booth in a convention hall somewhere, but you know, I kind of like this venue. I'm missing the people that we would normally see at market, but having my booth set up in the great outdoors isn't all bad. So let's talk a little bit about the new collection. This is the storyboard, and there's just a quick glimpse at some of the prints, and we'll go into those a little bit more in some of the next clips. But this line was inspired by my love of fall colors, and I enjoy bringing those colors indoors, so I wanted to create a collection of quilts that would work through the late summer and into the fall. So it's got some of my usual colors with the roses and greens and aquas and navies, but with a touch of orange so that I can use those quilts throughout that season. So this collection isn't specifically fall. There aren't any pumpkins or gourds or anything like that, but just the color combination and sort of the assorted wildflowers that you would see in Minnesota, which is where I live at that time. So I started working on this collection late last fall, or I should say late last summer. I have two little boys, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they wanted to spend most of their time at different boat landings throughout the county so that they could fish. And although I enjoy going fishing with them or being there with them, I don't exactly love to fish. So I often had my iPad with me, and I would be drawing and creating these prints as they hung out on the dock and would catch fish. So the main print from the collection is inspired by different wildflowers that were glowing along the grass alongside of those different boat docks that we were hanging out on. So it's kind of fun now to see those fun afternoons that we spent together turned into a fabric collection that I get to share with you all. So the collection will be shipping to stores next October. A couple of the box kits will be available in November, and I have a collection of patterns to go with it as well. So stay tuned, and I will give you a tour of the prints, and then I will show you the patterns that go with the collection. Next, I want to show you the individual prints from the collection. And this collection started, as it always does for me, with the main floral, and I knew I wanted it to have a navy background. And the flowers are inspired by the flowers growing in the ditches here in Minnesota. We have a lot of these daisy type or black-eyed Susan type flowers, a lot of these little white daisies, just a whole assortment of small little wildflowers that are always continually blooming here in Minnesota. And I also did that in a gold or yellow colorway and in this wine or merlot color. There you can see the main cluster. Next up, we have the background print, which was really important for me to get right. And this one was inspired by all the beautiful sashiko stitching that's so popular right now, especially with visible mending and in jeans. I just thought it was so cute and wanted to incorporate it into this line. So I've got it as a navy for a background. I've got it as a cream. There you can see it says, "I love my stash," stitch on. And I also have it in an aqua. Next up, we have the secondary floral, which just has these cute little clusters of roses. And it comes in green and it comes in a teal. Then we have a scatter floral that brings all the colors together. We have it in this gold color. We have it in this fun teal and in this orange. Then we have just a small little scatter floral print in the gold and the wine color and the green. And then one of my favorite prints, the mandala print. I love symmetrical designs, and if I can work a flower into something that repeats like this, it's just fun for me to create and draw little things like that. So that one comes in the cream and the wine and also in the orange. Then we've got a couple geometrics. This one kind of a play on the ever popular little plus symbol that you see in a lot of prints. And this one I'm calling my fishtail print, but you may not see that, but this is inspired by the shape of a fishtail from all of my fishing trips with the boys when I designed this collection. We also have a little daisy print that kind of reads like a plaid, and that'll be in the orange and the gold and the aqua. And then I also wanted to point out that the collection looks really good with this Blossom Basic from Riley Blake, designed by Christopher Thompson. And it's one of my favorite basics of all times. And it's what we're going to use to match colors to. So these prints are digitally printed. And even though they're pretty close, we do a strike-off process before we screen print, and that'll allow us to get the colors a little bit closer, but you can see what those colors will become. So those basics are really good to mix in with these prints, and I've done that in a couple of the quilts that I'll show you next. So next, let's talk about pattern support for this collection. And I've got 3 new single patterns and 2 others that are runners from my Trendy Table 3 book, which you can see here. Get a better shot of that. It's a collection of 15 table runners. It came out in January, so that's available now. These 2 runners are from that book. This one here uses a 5-inch stacker of the collection, along with some navy background and a little bit of green. The other one is the Autumn Garden runner. That one also uses a 5-inch stacker and some background fabric. And let me show you a fun little thing about that one. So Riley Blake is coming out with, there we go, a little kit in a keepsake box for that runner. So that will be out about a month after the collection ships. So November is what they're saying for shipment on that. Then let's talk about some of the single patterns. First up, we have this one called Double Takes 4. This one is a 10-inch square or 5-inch square pattern. So the larger version here uses the 10-inch squares, and there'll be multiple size options of that. And then you can use the 5-inch stacker for the table runner. And this is just a good pattern for showing off large-scale florals. So you can see the squares are big. It's really fun and easy to put together and shows off the fabric really well. So if you can do a folded corner and sew strips around a block, you can make that quilt. And it's super easy to kit. If you're a shop and you want to offer that one as a kit, it takes a 10-inch stacker and some cream. You can see I used a little sashiko print and the contrast print, which is the navy here, and then your border fabric. Then let's talk about the next one here. This one is Midnight Garden. This is also a pattern for a 10-inch stacker. This is probably my favorite from the collection. Just fun little happy blocks that again just show off all those little prints. This one will come in multiple size options. This one uses just one 10-inch stacker. And then let's zoom in on the background. I've used that little navy sashiko print that I talked about. So you can see the little stitching, or what looks like stitching in the background. And then I used the scatter floral and the wine colored main floral for the outer border. And then let's talk about the last pattern. It's called Aster. Now my fabric just showed up a few days ago, so I did not get the quilt done of this, but I did get one block made, and this is what it's going to look like after it's sewn together. You can use fat quarters or fat eighths, and there are multiple size options for that pattern as well. So it'll come from throw size to king to queen. Just a fun block, nothing too challenging. And I'm going to use the diagonal daisy as the sashing in that print. So like I said, the Trendy Table 3 book is available now. The 3 singles that I was showing you, they'll be available later this summer, but they are available for pre-order now on the Riley Blake. Well, quilt friends and shop owners, that's a wrap on the tour of my spring quilt market booth. And just to recap, the name of the fabric line is called Indigo Garden. It'll be available from Riley Blake Designs, and it'll be shipping in October of this year. One of the things I forgot to mention earlier when I was showing my Midnight Garden quilt back here is that Riley Blake is offering a kitted box kit of that. That'll be available in November, and it'll be at the same time as they have the Autumn Garden runner available in the boxed kit. As far as getting the books and the patterns for the collection, the Trendy Table 3 book is available now on Riley Blake's website. You can also pre-order the 3 new patterns, the Double Takes 4, which is over here, and the Aster quilt, which is the block there, or the Midnight Garden, which is here. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you stopping by, and I look forward to seeing what you create with this collection.